This is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back, my gorgeous, good-looking friends. It looks like the Sussex PR machine is in overdrive with two exclusives on both sides of the pond, pretty much telling the same story of Meghan not liking all the attention that Catherine is getting this week in Italy. So we see these articles now put out to go ahead and trash her. We're going to just go through one of them because I think that's enough, and that is the American one that Meghan always goes to, which is Star Magazine. You can't tell me that this is not the work of the Sussex PR machine, because every week, Meghan or Harry are on the cover page of this magazine. Remember last week Harry was on the cover trying to get himself deported with this stupid story? Anyway, let's get into this so you can see how pathetic this saga is getting. The final meltdown. As family snapshots reignite old tensions, the Duchess of Sussex feels trapped in an unwinnable competition with the future queen. The headline in itself just goes to show how much Meghan loves to play the victim. Let's go through this article so I can show you how they are reinforcing certain narratives to keep us constantly distracted. And you'll understand why I'm pointing these things out, because it fits with the bigger picture. Keep in mind that none of these stories, as well as all the other stories that are being cranked out on a daily basis, ever talk about the work that Harry was doing in conjunction with his own government and the Biden administration. All right, let's get into this article. Barefoot in the grass beside Prince William, 43, and their 3 children, Princess Kate, I'm going to call her Catherine, looked every inch the picture-perfect future queen in an intimate family portrait released to mark the couple's 15th wedding anniversary on April 29th. Days later, the Prince and Princess of Wales shared another joyful image, a glowing 11th birthday portrait of daughter Princess Charlotte smiling in a field of daisies, followed by a video of the tween cuddling the family's Cocker Spaniels and running along a beach. While the heartwarming images of Charlotte and brothers Prince George, 12, and Prince Louis, 8, delighted royal watchers, Star has learned they may have reopened a deep wound for Catherine's estranged sister-in-law more than 5,000 miles away. Meghan Markle and husband Prince Harry feel like there's one set of rules for William and Catherine and another for them, a source tells Star. All the resentment over the double standard is bubbling up again. Days after Charlotte's birthday images were released, Meghan shared her own Instagram post marking son Prince Archie's 7th birthday on May 6, including a snapshot of him and sister Princess Little Betty, who turns 5 in June, from behind, and a never-before-seen photo of him as a newborn lying on Harry's chest. But the post sparked criticism online, with commenters accusing the couple of everything from trying to stay relevant to pimping their children to stay in the media spotlight. Catherine and William are very clearly using their children as part of the royal image and the branding of the family, says the source. Yet Meghan's been criticized for even including the smallest glimpse of Archie and little Betty. She feels like she's constantly being judged by a completely different rulebook, and no matter what she does, Catherine will be the golden girl, and she will be the villain. Now, I think that Harry and Meghan put these pieces out to purposely gaslight the public. Here we have Meghan whining about, how Catherine and William, they're brazenly putting their children out there into the public domain. Well, pretty much saying that when the Waleses put their children out there, it's really a PR gimmick to help their royal brand. But when she does it, she gets scrutinized. Well, of course, Meghan. What do you expect when the last pretty much 10 years, it's been nothing but lies and manipulation? Princess Catherine is not shoving her face on a daily basis down people's throats. People are sick of you, Meghan. That's why you get scrutinized. People are sick of the games that are being played with these children. We know that Meghan photoshops photos, and we know that her past and her history is a lie. Why should anybody believe anything that's being put out here, especially when the photoshopping is so messy and obvious? Of course you're going to be scrutinized because people don't trust you, Meghan. People trust Catherine. She hasn't lied to the public. Everything that she has done has been out in the open and transparent. We see her children's faces. We know that they came from her body because it's been certified. You, on the other hand, everything is so murky. Also, Catherine's not a liar and a hypocrite. She also doesn't play victim, even though she has been victimized at the hands of Harry and Meghan. Look, we all know the PR companies put these articles out targeting stupid people because there will always be dumb people who fall for this crap. However, we know that Harry and Meghan, specifically Meghan, has a history of photoshopping photos. So there's a reason why we scrutinize everything, because we are tired of being lied to. Double standards. The renewed scrutiny has hit a nerve because Meghan has long argued that she and Harry are held to a harsher standard than the Prince and Princess of Wales by both the palace and the public. In a bombshell 2021 CBS interview, the former Suits actress blasted the constant comparisons between herself and Catherine. "If you love me, you don't have to hate her, and if you love her, you don't have to hate me," she said at the time.
And I think so much of what I have seen play out is this idea of polarity, where if you love me, you don't have to hate her, and if you love her, you don't need to hate me.
So when this satanic demon said that quote, I knew immediately that this woman is an agent of chaos, and her job is to be as polarizing as she possibly can. And what have we seen since then? Everything that Meghan Markle does is designed to incite and to gaslight and to provoke. This is what these leftist globalist parasites do best. They love to distract and keep people divided. And these communists who walk around as Democrats use race in order to achieve that. And that is exactly what this stupid bitch did. According to the source, Meghan believes she entered royal life already fighting an uphill battle. Catherine's the quintessential Brit who's terribly reserved and somewhat inward with her emotions, says the source, while Meghan speaks her mind and is not afraid to amend and improve the status quo. They've always been poles apart, and Meghan just wishes people would stop comparing them. Well, Meghan, a simple solution to that is stop cosplaying as if you are a royal. You don't represent what the institution stands for. So stop trying to improve it, make it better, or change the whole damn thing, because that's not what the people want. And you're not understanding that. People don't want what you have to offer. And that's because it's divisive, it's hateful, it's selfish, none of the things that Catherine represents. Catherine is serving the people, not serving herself. She once hoped that she and Catherine together could become a positive and powerful force for change, the source adds, but tensions steadily worsened as William and Harry's relationship disintegrated amid the Sussexes' growing belief they were being treated unfairly. Catherine was always coloring inside the lines, the source explains. She wasn't willing to risk anything that could be perceived as breaking royal protocol. You see, and what Meghan's not getting is that it's not about you, Meghan. It's not about focusing on you and being the standout star by coloring outside the lines. Honestly, nobody wants the shit that you're peddling. The growing divide became painfully public when reports surfaced claiming Meghan had made Kate cry during a disagreement involving bridesmaid dresses ahead of her 2018 wedding. Meghan later insisted in her bombshell CBS interview that the reverse happened, revealing Catherine had apologized with flowers and a handwritten note. Now, I always thought that that part of the Oprah interview was catty and petty of Meghan Markle. She knew that Catherine couldn't talk back or defend herself, so she went ahead and positioned the story by saying, oh, I'm not trying to be disparaging, but yeah, really, I am disparaging her because I know that she can't talk back or defend herself, so I'm going to go ahead and slam her anyway. That was one of the top asshole moments for Meghan in this interview.
I'm not sharing that piece about Kate in any way to be disparaging to her. I think it's really important for people to understand the truth.
I've forgiven her, Meghan said, calling Catherine a good person. But according to the source, the damage was already done. Once the word was out that they didn't get along, the writing was on the wall, says the source. Meghan knew at that point that her future within the firm, as well as the UK as a whole, was doomed. And you see what's going on here. Meghan can't let go of the fact that she was exposed, and she is going to continue to use this petty incident to hold it over Catherine's head and paint her as this horrible, cold, frigid person, damaging and tarnishing Catherine's reputation. This is what's happening now in this article. The latest Wales's family image have only reinforced a painful reality. William and Catherine are the monarchy's untouchable golden couple, a pair celebrated for the exact kind of carefully curated family moments Meghan and Harry are relentlessly mocked for sharing. Well, maybe that's because everything that Meghan does is inauthentic, not to mention also staged and obviously forced. Seeing the photos, it's hard for even Meghan to deny how happy the Waleses look as a family, says the source. They're living this perfect life and idolize the world over, which is impossible to compete with. Sounds like there's quite a bit of jealousy going on here. And don't think that it's just Meghan who's jealous. Of course, Harry is looking at his brother and his family grow while he fades into irrelevance. Hence the reason why we're seeing all these ridiculous things that Harry's trying to do to make himself look like he's some sort of global statesman and has purpose in this world. Meghan has publicly defended her decision to keep Archie and little Betty's faces hidden. On top of threat concerns in a 2022 interview with The Cut, she also questioned why she would ever hand photos of her children to the British media she and Harry have long accused of racism and bullying before sharing them herself. Yeah, but I bet if the price was right, Meghan would sell out in an instant. But because nobody wants to buy her stupid photos of these so-called phantom children, she's stuck posting them on Instagram. Why would I give the very people that are calling my children the N-word a photo of my child before I can share it with the people that love my child? She asked. Still, according to the source, part of Meghan wishes she could share more openly. In an ideal world, Meghan would be showing the kids' faces, says the source. Seeing the Waleses get away with it so brazenly when she'd be torn to shreds is really tough to take. And here we have Meghan still peddling this very divisive narrative and outright lie. And this is a perfect example of how Meghan and Harry weaponize the media. Adding to the tension, the couples are finding themselves compared on the world stage once again, after Harry and Meghan wrapped a high-profile trip to Australia in April that mixed charity appearances and business opportunities. Catherine announced a mid-May solo trip to Italy focused on her early childhood initiative. There's definitely a sense in royal circles that the competition stakes have been reignited again, says the source. Okay, now pay attention to this next part because this is where Meghan begins her campaign to smear Catherine, especially coming off the heels of this successful trip to Italy. If anything, the latest comparisons between the couples have only deepened Meghan's conviction that Catherine is protected by a palace machine determined to cast her as the big bad guy. Meghan has no doubt the Waleses are still stirring the pot and bad-mouthing her, says the source. That's the main reason why it rankles and affects her so much. Oh, come on now. Does anybody really believe that William and Catherine are sitting around plotting and scheming against Meghan and Harry? Oh my God. The delusion is real here. To me, this kind of sounds like projection. According to the source, Meghan remains especially frustrated that Catherine continues to be viewed publicly as the monarchy's flawless future queen, despite the conflicts that have unfolded privately behind palace walls. Pay attention to this next part, because this gives an indication of the maliciousness behind this article. Meghan would love one day to expose how Catherine isn't this sweet, faultless person that everyone seems to think. claims the source. Meghan says their unfortunate showdown before the wedding was just one example of how frosty and controlling Catherine can be. Yeah, we're supposed to believe that it's Catherine who is the controlling one, as well as the nasty bitch. Okay, Meghan. Harry, meanwhile, may be carrying his own lingering resentment after years of public feuding with both William and the royal establishment. In the couple's 2022 Netflix docuseries Harry and Meghan, the British Army veteran accused palace officials of protecting his brother at his expense. They were happy to lie to protect my brother, Harry claimed. They were never willing to tell the truth to protect us. Even after all the dirty laundry he aired in his best-selling 2023 memoir Spare, the source says Harry still believes there is more of his truth left to tell. Harry feels similarly resentful of the Waleses, says the source, noting his belief that William and Catherine's secrets won't stay buried forever. The way that I'm reading this article, it looks like if Harry and Meghan are behind it, they're making a veiled threat. I think that if Harry and Meghan don't get what they want and if they don't end up in jail, they're going to go back to slamming the royal family. That's my opinion. The tensions may soon become impossible to avoid. Harry is expected back in the UK in July for the one-year countdown celebrations ahead of the 2027 Invictus Games in Birmingham, England. By the looks of things, in my opinion, I don't think Harry's going to make it to Invictus 2027 with all the scandals that are coming out around the finances of this so-called foundation. As Star has previously reported, he would love to have Meghan and the children by his side. But after years of acrimony and ongoing security fears, Meghan is reluctant to join him. According to the source, she's dreading facing more of the same if she were to return for what would be her first visit since the late Queen Elizabeth II's 2022 funeral. Despite the smiling photos, carefully choreographed videos, and polished public appearances on both sides of the Atlantic, the emotional wounds clearly remain as raw as ever. It's already the most epic couple feud in royal history, says the source, and now it seems poised to go up yet another level. And that's the end of the article. What's really fascinating about these pieces is that they're making it sound like Harry and Meghan are going to be in contact or directly crossing paths with the royal family, as if they're still part of this institution. What makes you think that when Meghan goes back to the UK, the royals want to have anything to do with seeing her or speaking to her? You know what I mean? Problem solved, Meghan. You're not going to face any kind of drama because the royals don't want to be near you. In addition, if you don't feel so safe, then don't go. Problem solved. I don't think that the country is going to be disappointed or saddened that you don't travel over to the UK to do this grift. I don't know if they recognize that the world is so fed up with hearing from these two on what they have to say or their thoughts on weighing in on social issues. We are tired of being lectured. We're tired of the hypocrisy, and we're tired of the lies. The PR firms that are behind this couple trying to rehabilitate their image are failing miserably. Now, I've said this before, there's absolutely no way this couple could afford all of this PR and the amount of propaganda being cranked out on a daily basis for 10 years straight. There's absolutely no way, unless there was either a government or the firm backing them, which is why I continue to keep saying that these two never left. These narratives that they continue to keep cranking out is really to keep us distracted, to keep us looking this way instead of that way. If you notice, the things that Harry and Meghan have been up to from political side, they don't dwell into that too much. It's always about this rival between Catherine and Meghan or William and Harry, and always this divide. And that's what division does. Division keeps us distracted. The polarization keeps us talking. They know the deal. They know what they're doing. But one thing's for sure, Meghan is obsessively jealous of what Catherine and William have because that's exactly what she thought she was going to have. But make no mistake, whether you like to hear it or not, the king is behind these two, and Charles is going to try and bring his son back. How they're going to do it without Meghan, I don't know. That's going to be the tricky part, and I think that's a problem that they're facing at this time. But what do you guys think? What do you think about this article? Definitely let me know your thoughts below. As always, I will be back with more content. But until then, please be safe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
It was such a fraud.